Okay, TRX suspension trainer, or any suspension trainer, is a great piece of equipment. Really allows you to choose your angle to make an exercise harder or easier using your body weight. There's hundreds, probably thousands of exercises you could do with a TRX. I can think of tons of combinations for just one particular movement, like a pull, for example. I could probably think of 12 or 15 ways of doing it. What we're going to do here is we're going to combine two different kinds of pulling to hit the pull muscles a little bit differently between each movement. So the muscles we're focusing on here, the lats, the big back muscles, the biceps, the rear deltoid, or the rear of my shoulder, the muscles in between my shoulder blades, called rhomboids, and my mid-trapezius muscles, which kind of run all across my upper back. The trapezius itself is a big trapezoidal-shaped muscle that covers most of my upper back. So, proper motion when you're pulling. I want you to know this, but don't think of this when you're actually doing the exercise. I'm going to give you a different cue when you're doing the exercise. The first thing I want to do is my shoulder blade squeezes, and then my shoulder moves, and then the elbow starts to move, okay? And then the reverse happens. When I release, is elbow, shoulder, shoulder blade. Shoulder blade, shoulder, elbow, elbow, shoulder, shoulder blade. But when you're doing the exercise, don't think of that. If you want to make that happen, I can promise you it will if you remember one thing, and here's the cue. We're doing a rowing motion, a pulling motion like this. The second one's going to be like this, but they're both rowing, pulling motions, okay? I want you to imagine on each movement that you've got a cluster of grapes sitting between your shoulder blades, and someone has told you to make grape juice, okay? So each time you're going to squeeze and let it go. Squeeze and let it go. And by squeeze, I'm talking about the shoulder blades. You're going to squeeze those grapes and let it go. That's the first thing you think of, is squeeze them and let it go. If you do that, the movement will follow the natural, proper pattern. Okay? Body is straight through the whole range of motion. No sagging, no overextending or hyperextending. Core is tight, like someone's going to punch you in the stomach. Your chest is expanded. You're looking straight ahead, which means as I go back, I'm looking up at the ceiling. Okay, I'm not moving my head. I want to keep a straight, neutral spine. Protect the spine, protect the spine. And by the way, keeping the core tight, that's what protects the lower spine. Okay? So here's what the exercise looks like. I'll make this just a little shorter. The cool thing about a suspension trainer is you can adjust it based on your height or based on the exercise that you're doing. Okay? So I'm going to start leaning back. I'm going to choose a position that allows me to do both exercises. The second one is a little harder than the first. Okay? So I'm going to choose a neutral grip as I pull up on this one. Know that you can also do a prone grip, or you can do a supine grip, and you can also rotate between those grips as you pull up. So you see there's 4 ways of doing one pulling motion, okay? 5 actually if I want to add prone to neutral, or 6 if I want to start neutral to supine, right? Just a bunch of ways of doing it. So here's what the exercise looks like. I pull up, back. Now I'm pulling high to my mouth. Elbows are high here, okay? And back. This is called a face pull because I'm pulling into my face. This is a row, face pull, row, face pull. Notice I'm breathing out as I'm pulling myself up, okay? My body wasn't sagging, my core was tight, my knees were locked. I like to stay on my heels while I do this because if I go on my whole foot, I have a tendency to kind of bend around my knees, right? And I want a nice long lever. That being said, be very careful. If you're on a slippery floor like linoleum or hardwood and you have rubber shoes on, you might want to go barefoot. Okay, your skin will dig in better. Even with shoes, if you're on a carpet, it's going to be slippery. So be careful. You may actually want to put your foot down so that you've got a greater surface area in contact with the floor, more friction. You especially need to be careful as you lay back, move back like this. And by the way, as I move back and I increase the angle from vertical, this makes the movement harder. As I stand up straighter, it makes it easier. Okay? So again, here it is, one more time. Remember, squeeze those grapes, okay? So that's a row to a face pull with the TRX.